Hello everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another cross stitching video. In this video this week, my little theme for the week is summer stitching. It is officially June 1st and I am ready for summer. The weather here in Washington right now, today is 80 degrees and tomorrow's supposed to be 85. And then by the end of the week though, it's supposed to be like 59 and raining because like our weather does like really big shifts a lot of the time. So right now it's very summery though, and that has me in the mood for summer projects. Plus I am pulling out a project for the first time this year because the seasons changed and went from spring to summer. And so that means that I am going to be pulling out my summer project and putting away Sanctuary. Sanctuary was my spring project and now my summer project is Drinks on the Beach, which is it was the Hade 2025 stitch along. Hade stands for Heaven and Earth Designs, which is a full coverage charting company. And I haven't worked on this piece since last year, and here's where it is. I really love the colors of this. It's so bright and colorful, and I love bright colors, like especially for summer, and just the whole scene, like the sunny sky, and then it's a beach with a bunch of drinks. It just makes you want to have a little cocktail on the beach, which, you know, I'm not right like near a nice beach. There are beaches in Washington, they are rocks. It's not a nice beach. Anyways, this is on a 32 count 1/1 half cross, and I am using CXC floss because it is a little bit thicker than DMC, so it gives slightly better coverage using one strand on 32 count. So this is a piece that I will be working on. I think I'm going to work on this one first just because it's first time being out this year. And then the other pieces that I have pulled out as options to work on is I have Merry Mushroom Village Picnic, which is the Hade 2024 stitch along. I'm really bad at finishing my stitch alongs, and so I am trying to get this one finished this year. I think I have like 19,000 stitches left, and so I most likely will pick one color and try and finish off one color this week, because that is what I have been doing when I've been working on it, is like pick a color, finish it, and then pick the next color. So like I finished this red, I've finished some of the yellows over in the mushroom, and this one's on a 28 count 2/1 half cross. So this is an option, and then I have one more that I for sure want to work on, and then I have two that are like possibilities if I have time, because it's just a matter of how much time will I have. My kids are still in school. They have 2 more weeks of school left, and one of my kids is going to be going from elementary school to middle school, and so there's like a lot of extra things that they've been doing for that. So like there was a skate night with all the elementary schools that are going to be going to the same middle school next year, and this week there is a orientation after school one night where she can like tour the middle school and like, you know, see where she's going to be at school for the next few years. So there's just like a lot of events going on as we get closer to the end of the year. Anyways, stitching. One of the charts I for sure want to work on is Rose Library. It is artwork by Ivy Dollamore, charted by Unconventional X Stitch. It is no longer available, which is really sad, but Unconventional X Stitch does have a lot of other charts. Like there is an artist there that I think is called Mrs. Butter D, and they have a lot of like really colorful artwork that is really fun. Like there's one that's like witches in front of a bookstore, and I really like that. And there's also one of like a girl sleeping at like a gaming computer desk, and it's just like a lot of fun colors. I have been tempted to buy some of those, but I'm also like, I don't have time to start them. Anyways, Rose Library. Here's my starting point on Rose Library. I started at the top corner and have worked my way down, and I most likely would keep working in this floral section here because for summer stitching I would like to stitch more like, you know, fun things. I should eventually also do the windows because I have been kind of avoiding the windows. There is like a whole bunch of windows in the background of this chart, and they are light stitching, so I've been kind of avoiding that. So maybe I should do a little bit of that and then a little bit of flowers and then kind of break it up. This is on a 25 count 2/1 half cross. And then possibilities if I have time. There is Enchanting Unicorns, which is by Needle Lot Designs. It is in the book Fantasy Cross Stitch, and this one, unicorns in a forest, makes me think of summer, and so I would like to stitch on this one possibly if I have time. And this is a small chart, so I would like to get it finished, And I would like to especially finish off this side here, which has a lot more like little florally bits and like some vines and stuff. So I would like to work on that. This is a 32 count called Ursula's Domain from the sewingshop.ca. And then the other project, I didn't even pull it out because I don't think I'll get to it. And it's Dragon Race Into the Night, which is artwork by Rose Con and charted by Pain Free Crafts. And like I said, I don't think I'll be able to get to it. I'll insert the artwork right here. If I get to it, that's great. If I don't get to it this week, I will be working on it later in June because I'm doing like a little dragon week before House of the Dragon starts. So I know that it will at least be coming out at some point this month. So anyways, I'm going to get to stitching. I will be working on Drinks on the Beach, and I will be back once I have an update and I'm ready to switch projects. I have now been working on Drinks on the Beach for a few days. I started stitching on it on Monday. It is currently Thursday morning, and I think I've done like 1,200 stitches. I have a before picture right here, and the area that I was working on is I did some of the filling in right here on I think this is like a transition to like the water to drinks or something. I'm not exactly sure. Wait, it's right there. Yeah, it's the water. So I was doing some of that. I did a little bit in this drink, filling in some of the spaces I hadn't yet done. And then I also stitched some of the area around the umbrella and the cherry. So I was just kind of focusing in this area, filling in. And I am ready to move on though, because 32 count is hard to see sometimes. Like I have to use a like light that I wear on my head and shine it down to be able to like see really well, especially this drink here has a lot of light colors. You can kind of see in the mock-up right there. There's going to be a lot of light colors in that drink transition area. Don't love it. And so I was kind of going back and forth. Like I would do a light color and then I would do like a brighter color that was like in the umbrella or in like the seahorse here. And yeah, I'm ready to switch. So I will get out my next project that I'll be working on. The next piece that I will be working on is Merry Mushroom Village Picnic number 3. I really would like to get one more color finished on it this week. And so I'm going to be picking a color and focusing on that color. And then once I finish that color, I will switch to a different project. And so we will go into the chart, and there are a few different colors that I was thinking of. So hold on. There is the color 920. It has the most amount of stitches left, but I'm not sure about that one because it's kind of scattered everywhere. And then there was 754, which I'm also not sure about because it's also kind of scattered everywhere. And like this area here would be hard to do because there aren't a lot of like foundation areas already stitched. Like I would like to get something stitched there first before I start doing these like really spread out stitches. And so the color I was thinking about doing is color 902, which has 772 stitches left. And the reason why is because a lot of it is in areas that I've already stitched, so it will be easier and I am less likely to make a mistake. So like I said, this area here, I need to find a color eventually that has a lot more stitches so I can kind of get like a foundation of stitches put in before I do these ones that are just kind of like off in the middle of nowhere with nothing around it yet. So yeah, I think right now I will do color 902. I will show you my starting point. So here is my starting on Merry Mushroom Village Picnic number 3. And so it looks like what I will be working on is a lot of like kind of around the fairy, the bottom of the fairy, and around the inside part of this mushroom. So I will be back once I have done my stitching for this color, and then I will switch projects, which I think next I'm going to work on Rose Library. I really want to get working on that piece and actually fit it in this week. And then I think at the same time I might work on Enchanting Unicorn. So we'll see if I end up showing anything on Enchanting Unicorn. So I'll be back in a couple days though. I have now finished the color I was working on Merry Mushroom Village Picnic number 3, and it is currently Friday in the afternoon. So that means that I'm going to be switching projects, And I already picked out the project I'm going to work on. First, I'm going to give you numbers real quick. I wrote them down on this post-it note. So I have officially finished 25 colors on this chart. I have 65 colors left. I have 18,300 stitches left, and I am at 70% complete. So there are the numbers, and I will try and insert like the before and after picture. So like where I was before I started working on it, this is the after, and then I'll also try and insert like a picture of the artwork so you can see, you know, what it's going to look like. So here is Merry Mushroom Village Picnic. I love working on this. I am loving how it's turning out, and I cannot wait for it to be finished. I also noticed when I was counting the colors and how many colors were left that some of the colors only have like 3 stitches. And so I really want to get those colors finished, but a lot of them, it's like 3 stitches, but it's like one right here, and then one right here. And so it's like they're not easy to do all at once because they're just like so spread out, but I would like to eventually get those really low amount of stitches completed just to knock some colors off. But yeah, so this is going to be put away. I will get out my next chart and I'll show you what I'll be working on next. I decided that the next thing I would work on is from the Fantasy Cross Stitch book from Needle Designs, and I will be working on Enchanting Unicorn again. And so here is the artwork, what it will look like when it's finished. And I'm going to mention I'm trying to work on finishing page 1. So the chart is on 2 pages. Page 1 ends somewhere around the middle of the unicorn, and so I still need to do a little bit more of the unicorn body and then also finish filling in the flowers over here. So here's where I am. Like I said, I still need to do a little bit of the unicorn body and then try and get some of the flowers filled in. I'm only working on this chart though, I think for 1 day. So today, like I mentioned, it's Friday. I am going to work on it this evening, and then tomorrow I do plan on switching projects because I want to work on Rose Library, and so this is only going to get 1 day, but I'm really hoping I can make some good progress because I think all of this that I did over the course of like 2 or 3 days, and so it does go relatively quick. This is a 32 count, and I am stitching it 2 over 2 full cross using the called for colors, and the fabric is called Ursula's Domain, and it's from thesewingshop.ca. So I will be back tomorrow with my update on Enchanting Unicorn, and hopefully I will, like I said, finish the area that I want to finish, and then I'm going to switch to Rose Library. I am back, and it is Monday, which means it's my last day for this video, and I did work on Enchanting Unicorn, and I finished off this area here with like the little plants and flowers and all that. And then I also was working on, I was trying to finish page 1, which ends like here, but a lot of the colors on this page, like the lines are like along the unicorn's back, and I don't really like to do like part of a line and then end it, so I didn't want to have like a harsh line here in case it showed up in the stitching, and so I just started filling in the unicorn all the way across and doing rows like that instead, because like I said, I don't want to get any lines, like a page line. So that is what I got done on Enchanting Unicorn. I am very happy with my progress on this chart. And then on Saturday, I did switch and start working on Rose Library. So I will insert the artwork of Rose Library somewhere. I will also insert the picture of where I was when I first started working on it. And I worked on this chart Saturday and Sunday. So it got 2 days of stitching, and I am really happy with my progress. So I was filling in this area here. I did some of the blues. I was going like from here filling in down. So I did some of like the blues down here. These are the sides of books. There is a like vase with a handle right here, and then a bunch of flowers in this area. So that's what I was working on. I think I did over 1,000 stitches over those 2 days, and I love this chart so much. I am so happy with the way that it's looking. I love stitching on it. It's great. love it. This is on a 25 count, 2 over 1 half cross. And this is actually going to be staying out, and I think I'm going to work on it first thing in my next video. So my next video, I'm going to be working on my 3 largest charts, which is Rose Library, Dragon Race Into the Night, and Cozy Winter Book Nook. And I'm going to be doing like a kind of trying to reach milestones on the chart. So for example, Rose Library is at right over 8%, and I am going to be trying to get it to 10% in my next video. So it's gonna take a lot of stitches. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm gonna be keeping this one out. I love working on it. Happy to have gotten to see like more of this area come together. Yeah, it's so sad though that this chart is retired. I wish that Ivy Dolomore's artwork was still available, because there was some other charts that were available from her and I wish I had got them. Anyways, so that was all of my stitching. I do have one knitting project to show. It's not my socks, which it should have been my socks, but I didn't work on them. I didn't work on my socks, and actually I had like a little, okay, I use these stitch counters to keep track of my rows on my socks, okay, and I just left it sitting out, and I have 2, so I have one for each sock that I was working on. And the way I keep track of the different ones is, so this gold stitch marker I also have on my sock, on one of my socks. So I can tell that this counter goes towards that sock because it has the same stitch marker. Anyways, I'd left these sitting out, and all of a sudden I looked over and I heard a sound and my daughter was playing with it. And so I need to recount what row I was on for my socks, because it's not accurate. I was like, what? And then she was like, yeah, I was just playing with it. And it's like, it was my fault. I should not have left it out, especially because I do have some that I'm not using, because it was like a multiple, when you buy these on Amazon, it's like a giant pack usually. And so I have extras that like I've given them before. And so yeah, I shouldn't have left it out though. My fault. So I didn't work on my socks because I need to count the rows, and I hate counting rows for knitting, hate it. Anyways, I ended up starting a knit top using this yarn here. This is yarn that I had a sweater that I knit a few years ago. I ripped it out, and this was one of the colors that was ripped out. It is a discontinued Knit Picks yarn, which it's sad because I actually was thinking about trying to get more of this, so I would, you know, have more for a top. And yeah, it's discontinued. I think it's the color rhododendron in some sort of a lace. I don't remember exactly what, but I love this color. It's very bright. I love bright colors. And I ended up starting a top called the Laurier top, and it has like a lace motif at the top, and then otherwise it's just like a little lacy tee. So I am not finished with the yoke yet. I'm still working on it. I'm still doing increases. I did finish like this top portion, but it's gonna be really hard to see like the pattern the way it is right now. So yeah, I finished doing like the lacy bit at the top, but because it's lace, I feel like you don't really know what it's going to look like until you block it, which blocking is just, you know, getting it wet and then kind of laying it all out. So yeah, I really feel like you're not gonna see what it looks like very well until it is washed and blocked. But I am working on the increases for the yoke, and then I'm not sure exactly how long the sleeve portion is on this, but I might not really knit anymore for the sleeves because I do want it to be like a short sleeve, and then just cast off when I get to the sleeves, and then yeah, and then keep going for the body, which the body will basically probably be however much of this yarn I have left. So I have multiple little balls of this yarn because I did pull it out from a top, and so like there was like a sleeve that I pulled out, and then another sleeve, and then some like ribbing around the collar and stuff like that. So I have like a whole bunch of balls of yarn that I'm going to have to be joining in, but I did get started on it, and yeah, it's you can't really tell a lot from the way it is right now, but I am enjoying it. Anyways, I started this top. I also bought a pattern for a vest. I don't even remember the name. Like, it was just total impulse purchase because I saw it on Instagram, and it's a vest, but it's made out of scrap yarn. And so you do like little stripes. So it's like every 2 rounds you change colors. And so you can use up your scrap yarn. and I think that calls for a DK weight or fingering held double. And so I have a lot of fingering weight scraps that I was like, I can hold some double and make a vest. I will insert the picture of that. I don't know when I'll start it, but I was like, that is cute. And I love a good scrap project because I have a lot of scrap fingering weight yarn. So that was it for knitting. In terms of books, so I haven't really talked about books in a while. In terms of currently reading books, I have so many books that I've started. I am currently reading Empire of Storms, which is by Sarah J. Maas, part of the Throne of Glass series, and it is okay. The Throne of Glass series, I really liked the beginning, and it has just, there's so many more characters and things going on, and it's not bad, but sometimes I'm just like, Sarah, take a break with the spice. Take a break with the smooching and all that, because sometimes like the characters will be doing something where like, okay, someone will be like in danger and then all of a sudden they start like wanting to like, oh, I've wanted to kiss him and all, and I'm like, this is not the time, Sarah. This is not the time. Anyways, I mostly enjoy the like what the book is actually about, but there are sometimes where I just have to like skip a chapter where I'm just like, okay, enough with the love stories because it's not the time. So I am reading that. I am also reading a book called The Starlight Heir, which is by Emily Howard, and it's okay. It's not my favorite, so I'm not really going to talk about it too much, but I'm hoping that the ending will like turn it around because I feel like it's a fantasy book. And I feel like a lot of the times in fantasy books, the ends is where like things really come together. Anyways, I have a whole bunch of library books. I was going to talk about these real quick. I don't know a lot about them, but I was hoping that someone, you, might be able to tell me like, which book should I read first? Are these books even good? So the first one I will talk about is called Ocean's Godori. It was a surprise selection. So my library has this thing where you can fill out like this survey and about like books you like, genres you like, and they will pick you out a surprise book certain months out of the year. And so I got my surprise selection, Ocean's Godori. It is by Elaine Yu Cho, and I don't really know what this is about. I know, okay, so the thing right here says a disgraced Korean space pilot, an interplanetary murder conspiracy, an unlikely love among the stars. So yeah, I don't really know exactly what it's about because I did not actually pick this. It was a surprise selection, but if you have read it, is it good? What are your thoughts and opinions? And then another book that I picked this one myself. This is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I feel like I hear about, I'm pretty sure it's a girl, R.F. Kuang. They're writing a lot, and I have some of their books as audiobooks. I think I have the Poppy War trilogy. I just haven't listened to it yet. And then there's also Babel and Catabasis, which I hear a lot about, but I have never listened or read any of those books. And so this was at the library. They just had it there on the shelf, and I was like, ooh, I will get this one. So I don't really know anything about R.F. Kuang or their books. Is Yellowface good? Is it one of the, like, how would you rank if you have read R.F. Kuang's other works? Like, how would this rank in their works that they have made? And then the last one that I have that I will talk about, and this one is one that I only got because I have an arc of the next book that comes out in the series. So there's a website called NetGalley. Anyone can sign up for it, and you will get early copies of books. Like, you request them, or you can, some of them are just called Read Now, where you can just hit the button and then you can automatically read it without being approved. Anyways, this book is by Ellen Hilderbrand and her daughter Shelby Cunningham, called The Academy. I have heard it talked about like a lot on like book YouTube. I am not really on like book talk. I don't have TikTok. And so I have the second book in the series is coming out, I think it's September, and it's called like The Thoroughbreds or something. Anyways, so I need to read the first book before I can read and then like review the second book. So how is The Academy? What do y'all think? And also, okay, so which book should I read first? Because I don't have any physical books going, I think, right now. I always like to have like one physical and then one ebook. And so the ebook I normally will read like at night as I get like tired, and then during the day I will usually try and read like a physical one because that's the time when I can easily read a physical. Ebooks are better for at night when like you don't want to have lights on, and like if you fall asleep with your book on, you know, all the lights are already off. So anyways, there's Ocean's Godori, Yellowface, and The Academy. So if you have read any of these and you have an opinion on which I should read first, let me know. The Academy also seems really big, but it's because I got the large print version because it was just like what was at the library, and these words are so beautifully big for my bad eyesight. Anyways, that is all that I have for this video. I will see you all in my next video, which will be next week. And it might be like a two-parter because some of the milestones that I have set might not be able to be done in a week. So I think I might have to like break it up partway through and do like a two-parter on meeting these milestones. Anyways, thank you everyone for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!